Welcome back to the Pain Game YouTube channel. Same true Geordie, different background. I've moved. I know that freaks some of you out when the background changes, even though I've done it about 7 times now. But don't panic. Just be grateful I'm alive, because the previous background I've been used to was a hospital bed. I've just got out recently from pneumonia. It was a fucking nightmare. I'm not even exaggerating. There was a minute where I was like, fuck me, this could be it here. Like, pretty brutal. So I'm just grateful to be out. I'm alive, motherfucker. And it feels good to be out and talking to you lot again about what I love in boxing. Anthony Joshua, the road to undisputed is finally mapped out, and he's got to go through a hell of a fighter in Daniel Dubois, but it's never felt more possible for AJ, for me, to finally get his hands on all of them belts. And it's funny to say that, because at one point he had 3 belts and now he's got none, and yeah, I feel like it's more possible than ever. Previously, when he had the 3 belts, he had Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder holding onto the WBC belt like a pair of kids, trying to convince everyone in the world that they were 1 and 2 and that they didn't need to fight anyone else because they were clearly the best. And obviously we've seen how that fucking played out, but they were a nightmare to do business with. But now they're not in power. Turki Al-Sheikh is in power, and he wants what we want, which is to find out who the fucking best is, and I've got no doubt we are going to get our answers. If you can get Tyson Fury in a ring with Alexander Usyk, you can do anything, in my opinion. So basically, Alexander Usyk had the 4 belts, as you know. He's had to relinquish the IBF belt because he's unable to defend it within the time frame because he's booked in with Tyson Fury. That now falls to Daniel Dubois. After his big win over Hrgovic, he is now the heavyweight champion of the world. It doesn't really feel like it, though, because he didn't lift it in the ring. They didn't present him with it after he won. I feel like from his camp's point of view, they need to be feeling like we're the challenger. Yeah, they shouldn't feel like the prey. They should feel like the hunter, the predator. They want to go in there, take AJ out and make a statement that we are the rightful champion here. And similarly for Anthony Joshua, he needs to look at Dubois like the champion, a man who he has to come in and absolutely dethrone, because there's a danger here. AJ has grown up as the big brother, the big man on campus to Dubois. Dubois has always been looking up at him. And what you don't want to do is fall into a false sense of security, like, this kid isn't on my level. Many people recently have been making this mistake with Daniel Dubois, and he's been upsetting the apple cart time and time again. They need to take him seriously, and I'm sure they will. And look, the reason they haven't been taking Dubois seriously is because a couple of years ago, when he got, stopped by Joe Joyce was firing that jab down the pipe at him. He didn't make the adjustments. He didn't look like a smart boxer in there. He kind of looked like he quit a little bit, right? I mean, look, what he was going through with a broken orbital bone, I'm not really saying I wouldn't have quit either, right? But you know what fighters are like. When you get that name tag of being a quitter, a lot of people lost a lot of hope at that moment. But what I can say is the rebuild that his team, his family, and his promoter, Frank Warren, have done on him is one of the best I've seen in boxing ever. For him to come back against Big Baby, undefeated fighter, then Hrgovic, undefeated fighter, and put a beat down on them both is superb. What a serious fighter they've turned Daniel Dubois in, and now no one can take him lightly. And yes, don't get me wrong, AJ has the skills, the talent, and the experience to beat Dubois. But the point I'm making is, if you don't get this young bull under control, he will become a problem. You need to take that confidence from him early doors, in my opinion, because he is dangerous. And even if you don't take the confidence from early doors, the first few rounds, AJ is in a real fight here. What we love is to see 2 big, strong, heavy-handed motherfuckers throwing down, and that's exactly what we're going to get at Wembley Stadium, no less. And the undercard is fucking fantastic as well. But to see this at Wembley, a lot of people, they've been saying, a lot of good fights in Saudi lately, but we would like to see one on home turf. Turkey is bringing this to Wembley. So he's doing UK boxing a big favour here. He doesn't have to do this. And not only that, as I've said, the undercard is fucking fantastic. And just to touch on Dubois again, the thing that really turned it for me, when I was watching Big Baby Miller, he's a rough night work, right? He's 300 and odd pounds. He's a heavy man, and he keeps coming forward. And Dubois really got tested in that fight of, like, how bad do you want this? And that was the question answered from the Joe Joyce fight. He didn't quit. He kept coming. But in the Hrgovic fight, I had a cameraman ringside. So I was able to go back and watch all that ringside footage without commentary, without background noise, where you can hear every punch land, the sweat blasting off the head of Hrgovic. And it really gave me an appreciation of just what a rough motherfucker Daniel Dubois is, because he's got this persona out of the ring. Lovely man, right? Comes across as a really nice guy. I've compared him to Forrest Gump, right? He's just, tell him what to do, he'll fucking do it for you. He's the coach's dream. But my God, the thuds of these punches, just seeing the sweat fly off Hrgovic's face, you were like, fuck me. Daniel Dubois has arrived and he is the real fucking deal here, like. And even still, right, AJ is going to be the favourite. With AJ, the reason AJ is the favourite is he punishes mistakes really well. We've seen Francis Ngannou, not the best boxer, but a very powerful, imposing man. He made mistakes, immediately punished. There's no room for error now with Anthony Joshua now. Ben Davison has got him firing on all cylinders. And when you watch Dubois, his coaches at ringside are having to talk to him a lot and remind him a lot of what he needs to be doing. And I'm just talking about the basics of keep your hand up, fire the jab out. It's like almost like they've got a remote controller on him. They really do need to keep reminding him of stuff. And if he does switch off, he will get punished. But like I said, early on, those rounds are dangerous as fuck for both men. It's going to be fireworks. And one quote I really like from Daniel Dubois after the press conference was, he says, I'm going to turn Anthony Joshua into an old man in there. And for me, when Anthony Joshua has all the experience, all the accolades, it feels like everything's so heavily weighted in his favour. And for Dubois to cleverly flip it and go, but I'm the young bull, you're the old man. Remember when you fought the old man in Klitschko? I'm what you were then. That might not be true, but that's the atmosphere that he needs to create. That's the feeling he needs to put in Anthony Joshua of, I am coming for you. You're the old man now. And in Wembley, just like AJ did it to Klitschko at Wembley, the atmosphere is going to be immense. 80 to 100,000 people. Can Dubois handle that? I think he can. I think he'll be all right with the atmosphere. But Anthony Joshua has lived and breathed the Lion's Den, right? He's been in that atmosphere for time now. This will be, by a mile, the biggest moment of Daniel Dubois' life. How is he going to handle it? It's going to be interesting. And if Anthony Joshua can come back and win his third heavyweight title, yes, against Dubois, I don't care who the fuck it's against, to be honest with you. You win 3 heavyweight titles and put yourself in the record books with Muhammad Ali, Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. That's no joke, that says to the world, I don't go away me. I'm coming back every time for the gold until I can't come back anymore. It wipes away this illusion that people have had around AJ, me included at times, of he's such a handsome bloke that he's almost too pretty to be heavyweight champion of the world. He's too pretty to be a hard bastard. Yes, he's got all the physical advantages of power, speed, and all this athleticism, but does he have it in there? Is he a fighter in here? If you become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, no one can tell you nothing about what a hard bastard you are, mate. You fucking lived it. Man, I'm excited for this.
Joshua Buatsi, Willie the Hutch Train Hutchinson.
Buatsi versus Hutchinson is a banger of a fight. After what Hutchinson just did to Richards, when Richards went really close with Buatsi, that was a beautiful fight, violent as fuck. Hutchinson barely got touched by Richards. I mean, if he can make Buatsi look as silly as he made Richards look at times, we're talking about a real serious fighter here, like.
Tyler Denny, the undefeated Hamza Shiraz.
Hamza Shiraz is one of my favorite fucking fighters, man. This guy is like a sniper in the ring. In his last fight, I thought he'd be pressured. I thought he would struggle a little bit more than what he did. He showed the calmness for a young man of an absolute champion and someone who's going to be racking belts up. Denny, good performance the other night against Cash. Enjoyed it, but I think this is a massive step up and a huge opportunity for him. But Shiraz, for me, he's the future.
I've got respect for Tyler as a person, but when it comes to September 21st on fight night, it would definitely be brutal, to say the least.
That was the most matter-of-fact way you could say you're going to destroy someone ever. Yeah, I've got respect for him, but it's going to be brutal, to say the least. That was dark. I love it.
Dynamite Daniel.
Can we get some cufflinks for Daniel, because his shirts are always... Is that because his forearms are just massive? I don't know.
You know, AJ's been the king for a long time, and you know, we all know he's been the king for a very long time, and on the night I need to become a king slayer.
The thing with Dubois is he's not an overthinker. If anything, I think he's an underthinker. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I think his coaches know this. The amount of instructions they shout at him during a fight is always to try and keep him switched on. But him being an underthinker and just kind of living in the moment could help him, because as he's just rightly said, AJ's been the king for a long time. What you don't want to do as a young fighter is idolize your competition too much. And actually, AJ did this perfectly. He'd sparred Klitschko. He'd looked up to Klitschko. He still looked up up to Klitschko when he fought him. But once he stepped through those motherfucking ropes, all of that went out the bastard window. And that's exactly the attitude Dubois needs to have of, you're just my opponent tonight. You're not AJ, you're not the king of nothing. I'm the king of this fucking ring.
Good fight between the two of them, Hrgovic and Dubois. I picked Dubois to win as well. Yep. I watched boxing closely and I picked him before, and it came true and we're here. So I've been having Dubois on my mind for a while.
A lot of people might look at Dubois because of what I've said earlier about his previous defeats to Joe Joyce. Is he really on the level of an AJ? Should he really be fighting at this level? You're damn right he should. You don't beat Filip Hrgovic by accident. That's a serious win. And we need to reevaluate the way we look at Dubois, because if you look at Anthony Joshua's fights since Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois is without doubt the most dangerous puncher he's been in the ring with. And there has been concerns that AJ, can he take the fire when it comes to him? I don't think those concerns are there anymore, but there has been them. If there are still any remaining doubts in the mind of Anthony Joshua, a puncher like Daniel Dubois, who has the delivery system that Francis Ngannou didn't have, will bring them out of him. So as much as I completely have full confidence in AJ, and I'm a fan, the questions that people have about his chin, his desire, his will to win, and I think he's put a lot of those to bed, but they really, really will be answered by a fighter like Daniel Dubois, because he is not going to come in there and just be disposed of without a bit of a fight. A serious amount of hard punches thrown between the two of them before you get that answer. So therefore, AJ is really going to have to show at least a bit of grit and determination to overcome this guy.
Is the big plan here, Eddie, potentially if AJ comes through this one, to fight the winner of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk?
We've always believed he will be undisputed champion. As it happens, the rise or the re-rise of Anthony Joshua has given us more confidence than ever.
And Eddie's right to say this, right? Because he's going to be the favourite against Daniel Dubois, rightly so. So you'd expect him to win that fight. Then you've got the winner of Fury versus Usyk, right? I would pick AJ to beat Fury stylistically every day, right? But Usyk is the one that we're all expecting to be the problem. Usyk is the one we're expecting to win the rematch with Fury because he won the first one. However, in those first two fights, if you look at the coaching, both times, brilliant IJ, all of that rubbish that he got in the first fight. Second fight, his coach lied to him all the way through the fight saying you're winning, you're winning, you're winning. He clearly wasn't winning. So Ben Davison is going to do a way better job in making a plan for AJ and to help him execute that plan from the corner. You will without doubt get a better version in the third fight against Usyk with a better chance of winning than what we've seen so far. So factually, Anthony Joshua, for me, has a better chance of being undisputed now than he's ever had. All right, face-off time. Dubois, AJ. AJ staring right in the eyes. Dubois not showing anything either. That's one thing about Dubois. Like I said, he's not an overthinker, and I don't think he'll be that intimidated actually by AJ. He's been speaking quite a lot about spirituality and him, believing in a higher power and stuff like that. I think he feels like that is guiding him towards victory here. And I look, for fighters, being religious is fantastic because it gives you that extra level of belief, right? I think he feels he's destined for this. Whether he is or he isn't, that can only help him. AJ, on the other hand, been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and Eddie Hearn throwing up the 3 sign behind him. The 3-time champion of the world, could it be? It'll be unbelievable if he does it. Apparently, they did a face-off, AJ and Dubois, and shit got a bit lively.
So it was at the end of the face-to-face where someone said, September 21st, guys, and not before. And Daniel said, well, if you want to go now, I'll go now as well. And AJ said, do you want me to smash this chair across your face? Don't ever disrespect me like that again. And went for it. And then they all sort of had to be pulled apart.
You know what? I was already sold on this fight, but that's really put the icing on the cake. Because for AJ, when he's in this frame of mind, it usually results in him knocking someone out. When he says, don't you ever fucking, and like, when he gives it that, you're like, okay, someone's getting knocked clean out here. It reminds me of, was it Dominic Breazeale? Breazeale sort of squared up to him in a photo shoot in a fucking garden or something. And AJ just looked at him and went, you're not about that life, mate. Do you really want this to go there? Because I'll fucking kill you right now. Yeah, when AJ's in that mood, it's always a good fight, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Could this be a potential banana skin for Anthony Joshua in his road to undisputed? Or are you just convinced that Daniel Dubois, as good as he's looked lately, is still not on the level of Anthony Joshua? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to watch the Saudi Arabia vlog I made. It'll be just on the video uploads below this. Definitely check it out. We had such a good time. I rode camels. We went on safari. We watched Deontay Wilder get knocked clean out. It was fucking mental. I hope you enjoy it. But thanks for everything. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you later.